Yeah, I'm ready for you. So,
Okay, so this is on recording locally, and let me just refocus on the actual game window. So, hello everyone, welcome to Devs Play Penarium, and I'm here with Thomas Noppers, one of the developers on it. So, can you maybe introduce yourself to the crowd?
hello everybody. I'm Thomas Noppers. I am the artist. Well, one of the artists on Penarium. Game which is released, I think, over a year ago, made by a small team of former classmates. It's like 5 or 6 people, round and about, and later picked up and published by Team 17. And it's about a circus and a little boy that's trapped in a circus. I think that's the introduction.
Yep.
Right? Like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much
Oh,
good.
oh, wait. Have you played Dropsy?
Dropsy, no, but I've seen it.
Dropsy the Clown. So if you look at this main menu, which was a lot of fun to make, there's a Dropsy reference.
Oh, in the lower left corner.
Yeah, that's Dropsy.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's nice.
Yeah, and the developer of Dropsy promised or said at some point he will make Willy in his game in Dropsy. I'm yet to see it, but I'm also don't have a lot of time to play a lot of video games, so.
Yeah, I can relate to that sometimes. But yeah, so I've played this just a bit before the stream just to get a feel for it.
Cool.
But I tried the arcade mode only, so I'm guessing campaign is where the meat is.
In the long run, arcade is for me more interesting, but campaign has a story and has cutscenes and different challenges, so I think it's a good start. Yeah, it's a good start.
Let's start with that then.
Yeah. So all of this is inspired by I don't know if you remember Aladdin, the Disney movie, or Aladdin. I don't know how do you pronounce it, but I really love the purple and pink intro of that. That movie. So
yeah, the shopkeeper when he introduces the story.
Yeah, it's just a great start.
Yeah.
Such a little reference or a little like inspiration. So have you seen this cutscene yet?
Nope, I haven't seen anything from the campaign.
Alright, this is all made, this is animated in Flash and then exported to another program which just isn't actually Flash, but just copies all of the motions and we're very limited in the actual motions we could use. So it's just panning and sliding all over the place.
That's just the cutscenes that were.
The game is made in another development language, but the cutscenes were like animated in Flash.
Ah, I see. It is like the panning is pretty smooth. I don't know how much is coming across on stream, but it's definitely smooth on the PC.
It's a bit jittery, but I think that's just the stream. This is just the frame rate and stuff.
Yeah.
So this logo, man, a lot of hours.
Oh, I like that we can move in the cage.
Yeah. Like Rick, the designer, was very adamant about that. He wanted to like give players some feeling that they could have, even if they were caged, at least some feeling of freedom.
Oh, okay, so the field wraps around itself.
Yeah. That was during playtesting. That was one of the big things that we had. It was very hard to communicate to people without us tutorializing it.
Yeah.
At one point we had. Huh?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, at one point we had arrows on the side of the screen, just like pointing to the right, and they were moving and blinking, and some people still even picked that up. So it was very challenging for us to figure that out. And I'm not sure. I think the curtains. I don't know how the curtains. I don't know.
I think like the curtains kind of probably make it feel like it's ending there because people assume it's a stage rather than like a circle or arena.
I think we added those curtains because varying varying resolutions or screen wide with. Because I think on PlayStations, they're not on PlayStation and Xbox. You don't see the curtains. I'm not sure anymore, actually.
But yeah, this is definitely. I'm guessing this is like inspired by old school Mario Bros. Games.
Yeah, that's a very good. Yeah, that's a good hunch. My friend Rick, who was like the main designer of the game, very inspired by not usage. I think the original Donkey Kong or the Mario Brothers or something, which has the exact same element of jumping out on one side of the screen and just getting back in the other. I think it's called.
Yeah, I think it was Mario Bros. The one with the pipes where you hit the turtles from below rather than jumping on them.
I think so. I think that's the one. Yeah, it's an arcade game, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure anymore. Oh, you remember that one?
Yeah, I played it on the NES, but I believe it was the arcade one.
Okay, yeah. So how old are you actually? Because I'm 32. I haven't actually experienced those things firsthand. I mean, I played Nintendo games, but arcade Mario was something that I saw later on. Same with Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and stuff.
Yeah, I'm only 28, but I played a lot of emulated stuff because I missed out on a lot of video games until I got my first PC. So I played catch up for a few years.
Nice.
Oh, that bird is stealing my barrel.
Yeah, this is one that a lot of people really hate, and if you're stuck with it, I can give you like an insider tip. But I'm just gonna watch it for now. Just see how this happens, because you almost hit the spike.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. Well, that was very well. That was better than most people.
So I talk game as in chat. Can you talk a little about the design philosophy of Penarium, more specifically how and if gameplay systems translate to visual design choices?
Oh wow. I think that, well, one thing I can say is that the game, I'm going to go back in time a little bit. Penarium was initially very much about a level that was divided into elements, which was the middle part, 3 horizontal elements. It was the middle part, the upper part, and then the lower part. And all these parts would actually move all the time. So it was like, it was one level, and there was one camera angle, but everything else was moving. So the character was... It was, how can I say? It was very much like the death trap came very first. They were like the first thing ever to be invented. And my friends, they reeled me in and they said just like, well, we're gonna make a game which is very gruesome and it's gonna be horrible death. You can just you can have carte blanche, but it's gonna be in a circus. And Rick said like, he watched I think like a feature film of Felix the Cat, where he was trapped in a circus, and there was something bizarre about it, and something like 60s, 70s, you know. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know which one you mean. Like, it's the long Felix the Cat one where he goes into that weird world and at one point he's trapped in, like, a circus to entertain other people.
Yeah, I think he just ends up there. Yeah. And one thing that struck Rick was, like, the people in the public, or, like, the audience, were really freaky, and they were, like, normally you go to a circus to be amazed, right? To be, like, entertained and shocked or impressed. And it seemed to him that in that circus or in that movie that the audience was there to be to watch somebody suffer, and that was kind of the start for our game. So like, actually, the more you play, the more audience, the more the audience grows. And it's a little feature that it's hard to pick up, and it's not widely advertised. But like the audience members were just one of the first things I drew, actually, and I think I drew them before I drew Willy.
Yeah, they definitely have the otherworldly, like, blank look to them. Like, disturbing.
Yeah. So when they reeled me in, they said like it could be around about a circus, and that spoke to me because I was very interested. I mean, I really liked an old TV show called Carnivale, which is about I think a 1920s circus in America, and it's very. The intro goes like it was the age before man traded wonder for reason or something, and there was something very mysterious about it because it was like a show which was kind of supernatural. So it was about a circus, and it had people that were part of the freak show because they had like genetic mutation or something, or some kind of genetic malfunction or disease. That was one thing, but there were also paranormal people. There was a lady that could speak to her mother that had no voice anymore. She was paralyzed in the bed, but she had a spirit connection to her mother, and like that mix of like that supernatural, semi-reality, semi-spiritual stuff really spoke to me, and that kind of strange world we try to put in the game, I think.
Yeah.
Although it's a bit more cartoonish and comical than originally was the idea.
It reminds me a lot of like, I know like Goosebumps didn't really have that much gore, but more like a gory Goosebumps or like Tales from the Crypt, kind of like something made for kids but still pretty violent.
Yeah, and just like there was just something about it. You can see that it's. What I like about Goosebumps is that you saw it I don't know about you guys, but around here, it was aired during the middle of the day, and it was still kind of freaky somehow, still kind of scary, and you could see some things and think like, oh, that's fake, but there's still something scary going on, and there's still something, I don't know, it's hard to explain actually, but I totally get what you mean with Goosebumps. I also remember watching hours and hours of Power Rangers, and I totally didn't like it, and I still watched it.
I watched way too much Power Rangers, but I did enjoy it back then, and then I stopped enjoying it, and now these days I kind of enjoy that aesthetic more again.
Yeah, I mean the monster designs are super cool, I think, and I didn't really understand how it was kind of like Super Sentai was a thing, and how it was like a Japanese TV show, and like how monsters and Godzilla, how that was all connected. So I just watched it, and it's like, this fighting is dumb. But if you look at the monsters in hindsight, some of them are really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. So there was another question which I will check out as soon as I die again, which will probably not be long.
You have to look at a screen, right?
Yeah, I have to look. I have to look at the chat on the left, but I'm also trying to not get hit by rockets.
No, this is not one of those pause games or brief. There's no rest for the wicked.
Yeah, I do like. I do think that like pixel art works for something like this fairly well because there are a lot of things going on, and you kind of don't want that lost in visual noise. Like you want to be able to see it right away. Okay, there's a trap over there, like the blue, the blue thing just like popping out because nothing else is really that blue. Yeah,
that's actually a very great segue back into the question you just asked, because like when you said like how does gameplay relate to graphics, at the beginning, like the collision in some cases just pixel perfect. So if you play this game a lot of times, you kind of have to get a feeling of like this is gonna be a hit, this is gonna be a miss, and it was very hard for us. It was very important for us to have like those hard boundaries. So if you have a pixel character, you just know exactly where the pixel character ends because that's where the pixels end, right?
Yeah. Well, also because like for example, this pink gooey thing. Like you know the exact squares it takes up. It's not kind of like
that's true.
It's not like
it's blocky.
It's blocky, and you kind of want to know that for something like this.
Yeah, and the icicle you just mentioned, it was one of the hardest things for us to design, and even when the game is done, some people still say like, well, I can't really see what those ice cones are doing, or those icicles, or whatever you call them in English. I'm not sure. We call them ice. We call them spikes.
Yeah, like
Ice spikes.
Icicles, ice spikes both work.
Yeah. They were very hard for us to make actually see visible, especially when they come from the top. A lot of people just jump inside of them. They just jump into them because they don't know what they do. And I think that was one of the more challenging or harder things. It's funny, I said the word challenge as soon as the word challenge arrives on that button. It's funny.
Another one of the questions was from Mino Games. What's your sketching process? Do you start with pixels initially, or with physical sketches?
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
What's your sketching process? So do you start with pixels, or do you do physical sketches first?
I think... Not sure. That's a very interesting question. I draw way less than I actually want to. The thing with pixel art is that it's very hard to imagine pixel art with line art. So if I sketch, it's usually line art. And in line art, you cannot see the colors. You cannot see the relationship between one pixel and the other. And in pixel art, that's very important. So, like, if Willy was like 1 pixel taller, or his head was 1 pixel high, or his eyes were 1 pixel closer to each other, it would kind of maybe throw off the character and just look freaky or weird. And you can't really, you know, filter out those things or get an idea of how that will work out when you're sketching on paper. I think in the beginning I just did some quick sketches, like, all right, he's gonna be hijacked. He's gonna be he's gonna be a redhead because my friend who worked in the circus, he was a redhead. He's gonna come from the farm, and he's gonna be abducted into a circus. And my friends wanted, well, not my friends, but well, the game is inspired on folklore and old stories and stuff. And there's, like, in my country, there's an old story about Dick Trom, or I think Billy Turf is kind of like a similar character, like a very round kid that was always up to no good and always got himself into trouble. So we wanted to have like a kid with how can I say this? Well, he's not lean and very. He doesn't look athletic, and we thought that would be a very interesting contradiction, because he's just very acrobatic stuff.
Yeah, and double jumping.
Yeah, so even before we started sketching, those things were already kind of set. So there wasn't really a lot of sketching on paper, I think. I think just a few pages. So that was for Willy, and I think the director, which for me is also like a more interesting character. I think he got a few more pages because it was very hard to get the look right. But I think most of the sketching just happens digitally, where I just draw a character with pixel art and then actually completely clone it and then make changes and then clone that again and make changes. So in the end you have like 50 or 100 different Willy characters, or 100 different directors, and you can just kind of pick out, so like, oh well, I like that one's color and that one's face, or that one has like a nice hat, and so you kind of combine that. So I think most of the sketching was done digitally, and a few pages for on paper.
Well, yeah, this is kind of hard.
Oh, this is Simon Says, right?
Yeah.
I actually completely lost track of what happened on the screen. I was so lost in trying to explain what happened during your sketching.
No, it's fine. I think I got it finally.
All right.
Oh god, there's more. Okay.
If you feel I'm gonna help you,
I'm
gonna try to remember.
I think I can do this. Oops! Never mind. I didn't know that would happen. Can I skip?
You're in the next one, right? This is the next one. Oh, go back. Oh, sorry.
I thought I could skip it maybe.
Yeah, like a lot of the times, the reason you die in this game is because you overestimate your ability to, like, there's still enough time, or I still have a 1 second, but it's half a second and then it's over.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I can help you because the stream is a little bit laggy and choppy, so I might miss a few flashes. The funny thing is that the light puzzle isn't that hard, unless you. I mean, it's just the fact that there's like a laser beam of death flying in between you and the lights that makes it a bit harder.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. It's mostly me just trying to memorize and being kind of bad at Simon Says in general. Even
Yeah,
though
me
I've
too.
designed I don't know how many Simon Says puzzles and when I did have object games. Okay, so green, yellow, blue, red. Okay, so green.
That's one.
Yellow, blue, red. There we go.
Yes.
Green, yellow, blue, red, yellow. Okay, so green, yellow, blue, red, yellow.
Green, yellow, blue, red, yellow. Oh. Oh.
There we
I
go.
think you messed it up.
Okay, green, yellow, blue, red, yellow, green. Okay, so green, yellow, blue, red.
This is interesting to watch.
Yellow, and I think the last one was blue.
I hope so.
I hope
I forgot.
so. It's the last one, so hopefully.
It has to, right?
Nope, it wasn't. Oh man. Just missed the last one.
Oh my. Oh my.
I can do this. Let's see.
Yes, you have to do this.
I will not be beaten by Simon Says. Okay, there we go. Red, blue, green. Okay, so red, blue, green. There we go. Red, blue, green, red. Okay, so red, blue, green, red. There you go.
There you go.
Red, blue, green, red, yellow. Okay, so red, blue, green, red, yellow. Okay. Red,
Yes.
blue, green, red, yellow, red. Okay. Red, blue, green,
Don't do it. Don't go for it. Just wait. Just wait.
red, and it's yellow red.
Okay.
Yellow,
Oh, you're very patient.
red.
Much respect.
There we go. We did it.
Yes! You did it!
And then we got killed in the background.
Oh,
But it's success, so it doesn't matter.
It's cool. We won.
Yeah.
So this puzzle is funny because some challenges they speak to completely different parts of the brain, and
Yeah.
this is the one I'm supposed to talk with as well. Like the Simon Says is very hard, and I think later on there's another one which is very hard as well.
I do like the circus, I don't know, leader, manager, host. Not sure how to call him.
Oh yeah, yeah. The director, we call him.
Yeah.
I think he's not named anywhere in the game. I think he doesn't have a name. He's like a mysterious figure, or like the narrator calls him. Like I think the director. Yeah, I think at one point he's actually called the director. So.
Yep.
Oh, this one is super hard.
Oh shit.
You're doing very well.
Way
You're
over
doing
there.
great.
There we go.
This is like 100% pathfinding, and then there's gonna be rockets as well.
There we go. Got it.
Yes, that was good. That was very good.
Yeah, I do like that the controls are very tight. Like you want them to be as predictable and tight as possible in this kind of game.
Thank you. Yeah, that was that's. I think that was one of the first things. Before we had graphics, we had the controls, because that's so important in this game. In these type of games. I think the audience is growing. Yeah, there's more people now. Definitely more people.
I think
Nice.
that's also are they getting louder as well? Slightly, like more channels.
Yeah. Yeah, we have like, I don't know if that's the correct term, but dynamic audio. So, yeah, I think they grow in noise as well. Which one is this again?
Avoiding shredders and doing 20 barrels.
I think this is fairly easy. Yeah. Well, let's just see how we go.
Yeah, I think I'll probably fail now that you've said it's easy because I get confident.
Yeah, you should knock on wood. There's nothing but wood here anyway. So I'm not sure if you got time to pay attention to that, but there's like an airplane flying in the top left, which is part of a much heated debate inside the team.
Oops.
Like some people that wanted to have an airplane inside, and I always said like, well, red's a very dangerous color to work with because it's like the look at me color.
And you don't want the player to be distracted with stuff
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
background.
I haven't actually heard anybody saying like, oh, I want to jump on the airplane, but every time I see that thing, I was like, should have listened to me. But
yeah, because there's also a hot air balloon and it has far like less pronounced colors, I'd say.
yeah, that was deliberate. It has to be like very fake, and you know, it's to be in the distance. So there's a lot of, I don't know how you call it, air in between.
Yeah.
Well, that went swimmingly.
Yeah, only one death. That's pretty good.
I think, like in hindsight, if there's one regret when it comes to art, and it's not exactly because we had too little time, but it was like early on we had to kind of like lock in how the game was structured. But if there was one regret I have, is that we just didn't have more stages, because there are 3 stages, and you know, when it comes to making art, I could have made 6 or 7 or 10, but it was just the way that the game was set up, like 3 levels and that's it. And yeah, it's a shame. I'd love to make more.
When you say stages, you mean like the actual
Oh yeah,
art style, or do you
No.
mean the layout of the boards?
The background, just the flags and the sky, and you know, the way the thing looks. Yeah.
Oops.
Oh.
Well, at least I caught the rocket directly.
Yeah. You faced it head on.
Yeah. I actually, when I was testing this, I got an achievement for catching an icicle with my head.
Yeah, I think all of the achievements are related to death, apart from the power-up cards, which only work in arcade mode. So don't worry, you're not missing out anything yet. I'm trying to think of the least favorite thing I had to do while working on this game, and I don't know. I can't think of anything. Well, the stages were very hard to make. I think the stages were challenging. But they were fun. I remember doing like when you win or lose, you get like this complete board of scoreboard comes down, and there's gold platings everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a few goes to make it look like it was gold. I'm still not sure it actually looks like gold. I'm still not happy with it. But yeah, I remember making the gold. Was challenging.
So how many iterations did these actual platform layouts go through? Like, how often did you fine-tune it, or did you just like make the platform layout and just work with it?
Yeah, I think those platform layouts were very early on, but while we worked, we wrote a lot of development tools and a lot of playtesting tools. And I think Rick had a tool that allowed him to kind of change and edit levels pretty quickly and test them out on the spot. And I think we did that pretty late into the level 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see what the shop only.
Yeah.
Lock it from the arcade. Okay.
You got $87. It's not a lot.
Yeah, one arcade mode run.
Yeah. So this is inspired on a. I think you see or remember these. They are like as soon as you enter a theme park, you see like these like top down, weird perspective maps of how the theme park goes.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those maps, really.
Yeah, it's kind of like I only noticed now that it's kind of broken up into 5 segments.
Yeah. It was very weird. I'm trying to remember why it was so segmented. I think it's just because we wanted to really show that the levels were there were different areas of a menu. I think that's why it's so segmented.
Yeah.
And
go on. No, go on.
Oh, later on, the team actually said like, "Hey, it should be cool if we animate it." And I didn't make it to animate it, but so that was very interesting. But we did animate it. And the guy here right now, the narrator, this is Dada. It's his father. So the narrator is actually the guy that did all of the voices of all of the worms in the early Worms games. I'm not sure if he still works on them or he does the new games, but he's actually every worm in Worms, in the early Worms. It's the same guy. He's an English voice actor called Guy Harris.
That's amazing that he has such a wide range.
Yeah, he can do a lot of stuff. He does. We worked with him for a few trailers as well, and he could do C-3PO. I think he does Santa Claus. I think he has a really good American accent. Guy can do a lot of things, but I mean, he's a voice actor, so they're, it's amazing what those people can do with their voice.
Yeah. iTalk Game, as Aurora says, I would love more Sieges for Penarium, preferably the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yes.
This seems like a really good pick up and play game, to be honest.
Is that a stream question from somebody?
Yeah, it's a stream question by iTalk Game.
Yeah, I really agree with that. It's not in my hands. I'm just the artist. But yeah, I would love to see it on Switch.
So one thing I've just noticed, which I think is fairly interesting, is with the wrapping around the screen, the things that actually attack you also go through the screen.
Yeah.
Including the pathfinding of rockets, which that is not something I think old Mario did, so that's a bit of a new element to it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm not sure if old Mario did that. I think maybe. Oh, wow, that was epic dodge.
God, there's and like the bowling balls also go around. That's actually kind of this is actually a really good way to play with wrapping around playfields.
Thank you.
Because usually what I've seen games do is just something you use. Oh my God, Burger's back here. It's just something they use to let you like go along easier, or it's just for enemies moving around in general, just ending up on the other way. But I haven't seen much games play with projectiles and wrapping.
It's like a way out, right? In most games.
Yeah.
Like an escape. Yeah. I think Ruben, the main developer, the main programmer, I think he spent a few days or weeks on that. He's really talented and really skilled, but I remember it being quite a pickle for him to get it all right.
Yeah, I can imagine like targeting something through wrapping being really weird.
Yeah. It's funny because we made this screen, we made this game like I said with like 5 or 6 people, and the office was just like 2 by 3 meters, and it's kind of amazing how close we were to each other, like physically, and how little I actually managed to catch from the development, like the programming process.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like at the office I'm at, like we're fairly close to each other, but you're just so tied up in your own work. It's very hard to pick up things. Like
yeah, that's true. And like Ruben has like this air of not touch me, do not look at me, do not, you know. He has like this super zen headphone on, and even when he doesn't wear it, he doesn't look angry or anything. He just you can say his name 5 times, and he's like maybe at the 6 or 7 times he would be like, huh, what's that? And then he would kind of like wake up from his developer zen status. So I didn't really ask him a lot of questions during development. I just gave him the assets and did some meetings about pipelines and what how to do things, animations the best way. But other than that, during development, there was no chit chat during the work hours.
Yeah, I work for both types of companies. I work for companies where people just chat the entire day, and then I work for companies where it's just like focus for most of the work until it's lunch hour.
Yeah, and for some gigs or for some kind of tasks, it really works. So, because right now I'm animating a project, stuff frame by frame, and you know exactly what to do. So there's not a lot of mental, I'm not using every part of the brain, and the talking, the thinking, available to do chit chat, and it's kind of nice, just doing something that's, well, I wouldn't say stupid, but monotonous and kind of guided. And it's really nice to do those things once in a while and just be able to like chit chat a bit. And on sometimes it's just very nice to have like very loud techno or music you don't actually really like, but it's very in your face, so you can actually work harder. That was a nice jump.
No, I got stuck.
Oh,
I messed it up.
Aww.
Well, yeah, when I try to focus on getting work done, problem is because I do game design, it's a lot of documenting stuff, so
yeah,
I can't
you're a systems designer, right?
Yeah, so I can't really listen to stuff with lyrics because it messes with what I'm currently typing.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But when I'm doing just like raw numbers or in general something that isn't like writing, I like to put stuff like, I don't know, like Eurobeat or techno, with just like, oh god.
Ooh.
Oh, that's fine.
It must be funny to hear my voice like saying like, "Oh no, don't die!" Right 1 second after you died because of the stream latency. But I really get caught up in this.
No, it's fine. I have people. Oh god, I have people frequently on stream, so I'm used to people yelling at me, "No, don't do that!" After I've done the fact and died.
That's nice. Like talking about tasks that you can actually combine with talking. Like Penarium is kind of one of those games where you can not only talk while playing, but you can actually get in the zone by talking while playing, if that makes any sense. So
it's because the things that you deal with have a very clear pattern. I feel like I know the pattern of the dragon, so you can easily get into the zone because it's not like dynamic physics. Like it's not like the dragon is gonna be somewhere else based on the wind or the angle or the bounce. So it's,
that's true. That's interesting you say that, because you can see the arcs before the dragon actually goes to the arc. You can kind of like mentally visualize it.
Yeah,
that was good. This is I think, of all the 3 stages, this is my favorite stage.
This is a pretty good stage. I like this quite a lot.
Thank you.
Especially because how like when the dragon goes upside down, completely acts differently because this is the first time I
Yeah.
think it goes upside down.
And I think we could have used. Well, I'm not the designer, so I shouldn't about it. But I think we super small platform levels, and I think if there will ever be a Penarium 2, I mean, don't get your hopes up, but everybody in the team's up for it. But if there will be a Penarium 2, I think that's one, like, small stages will be probably be coming back. But there's no guarantee for anything, really.
I think this is like very tightly designed, especially like stuff like warning you on the other screen of stuff coming in and stuff like that. It's definitely very tight and like thought through, and you can see it was play tested. Like that's like definite.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's mostly because of Team 17 has like they're very good at playtesting and like quality assurance, and I shouldn't jinx it by saying the game is relatively bug free, but it's pretty bug free because all of the the playtesting done at Team 17, which thankfully they took out of our hands because that's the whole job on its own, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, probably. Oh, I was greedy. Probably shouldn't jinx it because I've had like devs play where I've crashed the game on stream.
Oh wow.
By accident, finding weird bugs nobody else did.
That's kind of cool, though, in its own way.
It seems to be a running theme with any stream I do, like me breaking the game in ways nobody predicted. Like I was playing Vanquish a few weeks ago, and I managed to die in a cutscene. I don't know how. Like an actual cutscene, I got a game over. So that was very weird.
That's worthy of an achievement.
Yeah, I guess it comes with being like working in games and just being used to breaking them.
Yeah, just kind of wiggling stuff, going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I think actually the Vanquish was a port, right, from a PlayStation 3 to PC or something.
Yeah, it's it's from PlayStation 3 to any Xbox 360 to PC now, but it's been like upscaled to 4K and like unlimited frame rate and all sorts of bells and whistles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge like ultra radical pro screen, what's it called, frames per second enthusiast, but like games like Bayonetta and Vanquish, they really get better with better frame rate.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Just because of the action.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this challenge. I haven't designed any of them. I mean, I design how they look, but like the trap, the ingenious, benevolent trap design was all done by Rick, and they just, thought of new ways to kill people, and I just drew them. Yeah. But the one with the falling arrows, which is like, it's a shame that I didn't mention it like 5 minutes back, but I was really going hard on only using a certain palette or a certain range of colors. And I said earlier that the game is inspired on, like, partly on Carnivale, which also has very faded and yellowish and sandy colors because of the paint that was used in the 1920s and what was available for materials and stuff. And so I set like Team 17 did like the quality assurance, and during playtesting they said like, well, the barrels or the flasks that come down with balloons that the challenge you just played, they need to be more brightly colored because people are not seeing them. And I was like, no, I don't think that's. I mean, that goes out of my color palette range, and well, I wasn't going hard for it, but I remember coming back to work one day and playing the game, just testing it, and all of my flasks were very brightly colored by somebody else. That was funny.
Yeah, oh my god, this is this lightning is really making things difficult.
Yeah. It's getting harder, and like you said, like you could kind of calculate where you're gonna land and stuff, and this thing kind of puts holes in your calculations, literally.
Yeah, especially because it goes all the way up, so if it can basically block me off of a jump if I want to jump under a platform.
Yeah, exactly. That's I don't like it either. And the thing itself, like it's like a Tesla coil.
Yeah.
I got that from the what's the movie called? Inception. Name. What's it called? Christian Bale is a wizard or a magician. The Prestige.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. And they have like this, like Tesla has like this big bolt, like ball, and the lightning shoots off, and that was the inspiration for the. We actually call it the Tesla coil in the game.
I think it actually is a Tesla coil officially because it's an actual thing Tesla made, except it wasn't like a lightning ray, it was just like a ball that could have like lightning spark out.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw those was in some kind of Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
You could actually put Tesla coils on the floor. You can make like whole walls of Tesla coils, and oh, here he is again.
Yep. Here we go.
The dreaded Simon Says. I'm gonna be quiet for a sec.
Yeah, let's try and get through this. Yellow, green, blue. No. This is evil.
Yeah.
Okay, yellow, green, blue, green. Yellow, green, blue, green. Green, there we go. Yellow, green, blue, green, red. Yellow, green, blue, green, red. Oh my god.
Yellow, green,
blue,
yeah.
Yellow, green,
blue, green, red.
blue, green, red, yeah. Okay, I think it's the last one. Yellow, green, blue, green, red, yellow. Okay, so yellow, oh my god, green, blue, oof.
Oh.
It was a blue, green or blue, yellow?
Blue, green, red.
Blue, green, red. What was that?
Yellow.
For red? Yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
We did it. Woo.
I'm contributing. Wow.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Thank you. So another question is, now that Selfmade is defunct, who is the IP rights holder to Penarium? If you can or want to answer that.
Whoa. One more time? I'm sorry.
So now that Selfmade is defunct, I don't know if that's true, who is the IP rights holder to Penarium? That was one of the chat questions.
Oh, that's still Team 17. So Team 17, or no, wait, that's still Summon Miracle. It's still like the company still exists. They just don't hold office anymore, but they're still like an entity, and they still have like the rights, which is then equally distributed among all the members.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is I think like the Simon Says thing is definitely my least favorite one because I'm so used to just kinetic movement, but
yeah. I think it's the most different one from all the others.
Yeah, it definitely stands out.
Yeah.
This is also completely different to most things so far.
Oh yeah, like we have, like you said, like it's inspired on Donkey Kong. I think levels. Oh yeah. And actually, those balls, they were really designed and actually made the animation for it. They actually kind of like it's an old animation rule, like stretch and squash. So at one point, the balls, when they hit the floor, they actually like kind of squish a little bit, but it was very hard to put that in because the ball also rotated. You couldn't rotate the animation at the same time as it was squishing, so we took it out again. But at one point those balls looked really cool, or cooler than they do now.
Yeah, I do.
But
I do like the muted color palette in general, and I also it kind of reminds me of like old faded out circus posters.
Yeah, that was definitely an inspiration, and it's with projects like these where like the inspiration source is very clearly defined. It's absolutely, as an artist, it is so nice to be able to dive deep into something like this, and I'm not gonna compare myself to the great games because it's completely different. But I can really relate to how the artists on Bloodborne must have felt, because like, all right, we're gonna make a game. It's gonna be like Dark Souls, but it's gonna be like Lovecraft and Van Helsing, and it's gonna be the old Gothic and English, stuff in it, and it's just like such a great, inspiration source, and there's so much, stuff about that you can really dive into that and just really, kind of like completely drown yourself in flavor. And I think that's what that's part of what makes Bloodborne so super interesting, because I feel like the artists, got the opportunity to put every bit of love that they had into it.
Oh yeah, Bloodborne definitely has like
a
fantastic aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like I still like coming back to it every once in a while. But I think the best part about it is probably that the aesthetic like first makes you think of like classic Gothic horror, but then it turns out, oh, it's actually like Lovecraftian rather than Gothic horror. And it still works out so well.
Yeah, and I think it's just look, those themes are very interesting. I don't know if you played Magic, but there's an expansion called, which is roughly the same. It's in the same direction. And that said, when it comes to flavor, just knocks it out of the park. And I think that's just it's just something that really connects to artists, like such a deep, how can I say, atmospheric thing.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the Magic sets, like just for the setting they create, even the ones that people in general hated. Like I did like the aesthetic of Kamigawa, for example.
Oh yes, I love it.
And
for me,
Mirrodin 2 as well. Like just like I didn't really care too much about the characters because we didn't have unique characters. I just cared about like how the setting was envisioned, and then like with the artwork you'd have like the little flavor text that adds quite a bit to the narrative. And
I mean, like, flavor text is just such a, I think, unique part of Magic, where it's just they have the three or four lines, and you could completely paint a picture, which is actually more accurate than the actual picture on the card, or more,
definitely.
Illustrious.
Yeah, it's something I love. Like I know when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, like if you didn't have flavor text ever, it was if the card had flavor text, it was because it was a bad card and they didn't have anything else on it.
Yeah, there was no abilities. It was just text.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Mirrodin was actually like when it was first announced, it just seemed like science fiction, and I remember a few folks saying like, this is bullshit. I want wizards and dragons, and this is robots, man. You can't do that. And it wasn't a controversy, but like definitely some of my friends, they really didn't like the flavor and the idea of robots and lasers, and because all of that happens on Mirrodin. And I think Kamigawa was like a portal into something I didn't know yet. So where Innistrad really brought up themes you already know and kind of benefits from that. I think, as a player, you can kind of benefit from Kamigawa because it's just, if you're not into Shinto or like Japanese folklore or mythology, that's just a great opportunity to learn all kinds of stuff, and I learned all kinds of stuff from it. Yeah. Even though it's not, super accurate or one-on-one copied from actual mythology. They still create their own world, but it's super interesting to see that, like, oh, okay, so there are spirits literally everywhere, and everything could be a spirit. Even a light bulb could have a spirit, and that was very interesting to me. Although I could misinterpret that completely right now. I'm not sure, but
no, I think it was like closely how at least the setting was envisioned. Like it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was essentially how Shinto is viewed through popular culture, which I think it always feels like that's something Magic did, like because it had Arabian themed sets as well. I always did like. I do like that like Mirrodin wasn't the just like cheap sci-fi thing. They actually went with like old school like magazine short story sci-fi where everything was in chrome rather than modern sci-fi like Shadowrun.
That's true. That's true. It was very like it was. It's kind of I imagine what happens when robots start making robots, right?
Yeah.
So they have like their own design and their own like this works best and this looks like super sleek. There's not a lot of cables and that was very nice.
Yeah. So I have a question. Have you ever considered or played around with an idea of a multiplayer mode for Penarium?
Oh, there is a multiplayer mode in this.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, you can play together. And there is, like in the old tradition, there's a color swapped character, which is basically Willy, but with a different palette. And he's a boy from India, who was captured along the way, the circus Penarium travels around. And while they were in India, they captured a boy called Rajiv. Mm-hmm. And he's also trapped forever, and he also has to compete and play for his own life.
I see. I sadly don't have another person to test this out with right now, but cool. One of the things I was thinking of, man, this would be fun to mess around with another person.
Some people, huh?
You already thought about it. Also, I got killed by bees again.
You're doing pretty good. Oh.
I like my risky jumps.
Yeah, and I think that's where the game gets interesting after a while, because first play, you just try to stay alive, and after you get better, you just try to like push your limits and like pull off dangerous stuff. And at one point, we actually tried to put in Burnout Paradise or in Burnout, you have like these near miss bonuses. We tried to do that in Penarium, but we couldn't pull it off because it's very hard to detect whether somebody actually intentionally misses or it was very hard to track. But that was a fun idea that we played around with.
Nice. It's just pretty. One of the things I liked about the balloons, now that we had them again, the one I mentioned earlier, I like that the path it expects you to take also takes advantage of wrapping around the field. Like I do like that a lot of the design takes that into account. Because like I said, I don't remember seeing that being played around too much. Like if it was played, like Joust had it, for example, but that was more like how you moved about. It wasn't really that much how enemies moved about.
Yeah, and I think like it's because it was such an early and central thing of the game. I think Rick and the guys, like Rick and Ruben, they kind of got the chance to play around with it and say like, okay, what can we do with it now that our main character is able to wrap around? What else can we do? And so they started like, well, maybe you can just, make everything go around, and eventually. Once the balloons come in, like you see that track already, and sometimes you see a balloon on the other side of the screen and you think like, oh well, how am I gonna get to that? Well, it's actually you're gonna get to that by jumping off the complete opposite end. And like when we presented this game through a few companies, and I'm not sure, I think it was more bloody in the beginning, I'm not sure anymore. So one of the things that we lost along the way, because we had, like the most important thing is that this game functions as a platformer more than anything else. So it's just, if you jump, the game jumps. If you hit stuff, you die. There's not going to be glitches. There's not going to be, unclear animation. So everything was, in service of the platform game. So one of the things that we had to cut is a whole set of completely, fully animated deaths for every single trap. So there was a specific animation for the laser beam death, which was him like completely turning into a skeleton. There was one for the machine gun one for the wasps where he was like swelling until his head exploded. There was one where he got electrocuted, and all of those things were just kind of scrapped because we couldn't pull it off technically. I'm not sure why it was too hard, but they were scrapped or scraped. I'm not sure if
it's scrap, but yes,
Yeah.
I think this works honestly better simply because of oh my god, this is chaos. Simply because like you want the player after they die to get into oh god, that was fast, to get into the back into the game immediately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think you're. That's an interesting point that you. That's one of the things that we wanted is that as soon as you die, you start over immediately, and I'm trying to think of a game that just I think Titanfall is it's not like a die and repeat game, but the loading times are pretty quick, and I think this was one of the things that some people find infuriating about Bloodborne is that the loading times can be pretty steep. So when you die, there's quite a lot of waiting, and we didn't want that in our game. So we shouldn't, do our best to display our gloriously animated, beautiful animation when the player has to wait for it. So I think you're right when we just said we're just gonna skip it. We just get to the restart button right away and get playing again.
Yeah, I think it also it really depends on how the game is paced. Like I think for fast games like this, you do want deaths to be instantaneous and just to get back in the action right away. Whereas for something like say King's Quest, because death isn't as frequent there.
No.
They kind of want to make it humorous and funny, so when it does happen, you get a laugh out of it. It's kind of like, oh, you're just practically, dying.
I remember Tomb Raider games being sometimes comically cruel when Lara dies, and every time she died in a different part of the game, it was interesting to see how she went through a horrible demise. And I think that's initially the thing that made us go oh, we should put that in. But eventually it's well, you shouldn't punish the player too much. Death is just an essential part of the game. It's just dying is like breathing here.
Yeah.
And, no fuss.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the deaths that traumatized me the most were probably from playing the PlayStation 1 Resident Evil games. That was always so brutal because the entire screen stops, fades out, you're killed with a death screen, and then it just throws you in the menu. It was yes, you're dead, you're gone.
You're dead.
Yeah.
And you always die because your bullets run out, and you shoot into the wall 2 times because the aiming is a bit clunky, and then you have to reload. But a zombie hits you, so you're ugh, and then you can't reload anymore because you're out of reload animation, and then you just because it's a very slow death actually, death by zombies.
Yeah, because the game is meant for long tense moments, and then when you die, it's kind of just the tense release. You're kind of okay, I'm dead. That was bad, but you're kind of relieved that you're no longer in danger as well.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's kind of, you get into the zone, and then when you die, it's no, I need to adjust my jump. I went back in right away.
Yeah, just stay in that zone and just get going. So this is my least favorite stage. I'm not sure. I think at this point I hit something of a fatigue, and the other artists, they were well, let me make this guy. And we made this guy, and I was just not happy about it. I don't know if you know Cool Best, but I call this the Cool Best stage because of the Cool Best is a drink type. It's just a drink brand here, and it goes from blue to orange, and it just reminds me of the packaging of that drink, and it's something that just throws me off about it. I do like that it's a level high up in the sky above the clouds.
Yeah,
but,
I can see what you mean about the background, that it's it has a bit of a tone that's not as muted as the rest of the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was exactly in line with the rest of the. Um, but you're stuck to a schedule, and
Yeah.
you have to make the schedule.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, I know that like I can't expect from anyone to be just you have to give 100% all the time. Like no, some things some even if someone's like a good designer, artist, or whatever, sometimes they're just gonna give you
Yeah,
good enough, and sometimes they're gonna give you something amazing. Like you can't, otherwise people would burn out. Oh god,
yeah,
this
and I
again.
mean there were excuses for us, like there was the schedule and stuff, but there's also the fatigue, and like as soon as that game is done, like after a few weeks, you're thinking like, oh my god, I could have done this and I could have done that, and wouldn't even be that hard, but you at the time you just cannot find the mental capacity or something to actually realize you can do it another way, or to add something, or to change some things. It takes a long while to be able to step back from something and say like, oh, okay, so that's the product, that was what I was working on. And yeah, this stage would definitely be one of those things that, in hindsight, I would say like, oh yeah, there's a ton of things that we could change here for the better, but at the time we just didn't. There was just no energy. Oh, this is Simon Says. All right, well, good luck.
Thanks. Whew, got it. There we go. That's done with.
Yes. This is the last Simon Says, so
So we're free now.
the sport is done. Yeah.
Oh, a reference to Rajiv here.
Oh, does he say that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. I see it too.
Oh my god, these are very slow rockets.
I'm gonna refresh the stream because I think it's gone. Oh no! My screen my computer just went to idle mode.
Oh. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, that player I link you sometimes. Changing browser helps if it's not working. I don't know why, it's just a weird semi-flash player.
I'm gonna refresh and see what happens then.
Oh my god, how do I even do this? Come on, game. There we go.
So many rockets.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Especially because they wrap around very easily.
So when we worked on this game, like the rockets were one of the earliest because they're the most banal and like straightforward type of obstacle in a video game. Like the rockets were one of the first things we actually, the first traps we thought of, and like the smoke particles was also very early put in. And during the development, because we're a Dutch studio, and Flambeer is a Dutch studio, kind of people make the like. I mean, there's more similarities, but we were often compared to like Super Craybox to an extent, and the rocket particles are actually, I think, in the early prototypes were actually the same way as in Super Craybox. And
yeah, I did see when I tried arcade mode Super Crate Box feel, because that kind of like stage setup is. I mean, it's retro in a way that it does not used that often. So when it is used, it kind of stands out. Like I know maybe a few more games that use that kind of layout. Also, I like the audience members trying to climb up to the booth.
Yeah, that one was. Yes, credit to my friend and co-artist Jasper, who did a lot of like really small animation loops, and chances are if something is moving, then Jasper animated it. Except for the audience, I did the audience.
Man, this is tricky.
Yeah, this is tricky. Yeah, this is hard. I'm not gonna lie. And one of the things that was funny about this game, well, not this game, but like the comparison between Super Crate Box and this game, is that we actually developed the game in the former office of Flambeer, which is
nice.
like a very small space. And like when they were working on their games, it was like probably 3 or 4 people, and at max we got 7 people in a very, very, very small room. And I think it actually got warm, very warm, because the air conditioning wasn't working. I make it sound very sad, but it was a great time to work on the game. And but the room was small, very small room.
One of my previous jobs, where I worked as a game designer, had at one point 9 of us in a small room, isolated. So because we did a lot of writing, it was closed up so we could focus. But even with one air conditioner, it was just, insufferable. So I could relate to cramped dev spaces. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's also not very healthy, right? Just like
definitely
lack of oxygen and too warm. And I mean, right now, I don't know if you guys have a heat wave, but it's like the last few days, it's smoking hot here, and it's very hard to work.
Sweden has been very weird. I don't understand the weather here yet, because I'm not from Sweden, so I just moved here last year. So it was like 20 or so degrees the past few days, and then yesterday it started raining, and it's just ridiculous.
Where are you from, by the way? I was curious.
I am from Serbia.
Serbia?
Yeah.
I used to play a lot with Serbian kids football. When I was young, because during the war, the city I lived in was like the main city to go to for Serbians and Croatians, and played football with a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of Serbians and Bosnians went to Sweden as well. Like I expected to see people here, but it was kind of like every other day I kind of hear Serbian in the background. It's a bit weird.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic is Serbian, right? Or no?
Yes, he is Bosnian, I believe.
Bosnian. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, like, I personally just like view all that as like same area, same type of people, just no arguments.
Yugoslavia.
Yeah. But yeah, the game dev scene in Serbia has kind of started to pick up in the past few years. Like 10 years ago, you wouldn't even think about video games being a thing in Serbia at all. But which is why I never went for an education for something games related. But then it kind of started happening, so I jumped into that.
That's cool. What did you study? Like development or programming or?
No, I was actually a philologist, so I studied languages. I studied English, and then I studied English, German, and Japanese was basically what I studied.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of those is not like the other.
Yeah, I wanted to try something new.
Wow. That must have been hard, right? Japanese.
Yeah, I've only ever got the basics down since I didn't finish my studies, but I do intend to continue it at some point. Now I'm trying to learn Swedish, since I'm all here, so might as well.
Yeah, it will be very useful.
Yeah, but
I think Swedish people...
Yeah, go on.
Swedish people are they speak English very well, so it's gonna be harder.
Yeah, they speak English so well that I kind of have to force myself to listen to Swedish because it's so rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mostly got into games from reviewing them, since I was like a reviewer / critic for Serbian magazines and some English-speaking websites. Oh, I think.
That's nice. That's nice. You still write?
Yeah. I did a PC Gamer article about Jalopy, which is an indie driving game. and then I did another one. But I sometimes write when I get an offer or get an idea. But these days it's mostly just focusing on game development at work and just doing streams to relax.
Yeah, cool. No, I think I picked up pixel art when I did a graphic design thing, and I worked at a mobile game company, like these old Nokia. It was when you had like a Motorola Razr. I don't know if that rings a bell. But that was at one point that was like the most sophisticated phone ever.
Yeah.
And so we were making games for those, and I just decided to do pixel art. And I think I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, nice.
Just on and off. Just sometimes for long periods, not, and sometimes just projects.
Yeah, I'm trying to currently figure out what to do other than writing and game design because I'm so used to having side projects and something to do in my spare time that I'm like, oh, I need to like make something. So I'm mostly now messing around with various tools, trying to find what I can understand. You know, I'm on Game Maker and RPG Maker and things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's one of the things I want to learn, but there's only so much hours in the day, so it's like,
oh yeah.
Well, I could completely reboot in one field, which is programming, or I could just continue my, semi-built-up skill in, or in my pixel art field, and continue making other stuff. And that's it's kind of still a bit of a dilemma.
It's oh, that was a silly death. It's still very hard, in my opinion, to like branch out so much that you can do like programming and art and music and whatnot. And
yeah, some people can do it. They're great. That's wizards.
Yeah, and it feels like when you hear those success stories, you're like, oh well, why don't I do it if they can do it? And it just like creates this very weird expectation.
Why might not tell it in all three subjects at the same time, like design and art, and just also find time to program stuff. It's
yeah. To be fair, I think everybody calls themselves a game designer, so you can be basically anything and a game designer with that, according to the internet. So
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, design is just such an interesting thing to just like dip your toe into, because if you're playing a game, you're also kind of dissecting a game in a way. You're not consciously doing that. You're still like, oh, I like this game because, and well, that's your first step into design, really. So it's very tempting always.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I managed to like learn that games are not like the other, and turn-based strategy games and strategy games in general, they are super hard to make.
Oh god, yes. I think like real-time strategy is something I'd be terrified of making.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, one terrifying part is just making it, but the other thing is just making it for the people are gonna play it, which are like probably the most hardcore crowd in gaming ever. Like if you play a game, they will grind it down until they find something that's wrong with it. Like RTS gamers are like pro gamers. I would find it very intimidating to make a game for them.
Yeah. Definitely. Also, man, these birds are very annoying.
I know a trick. So you can actually kind of trick the machine gun into standing still in a place. And the thing is that it doesn't move until you move. So the way we program this thing is that if you move, that thing kind of moves in the opposite direction from you.
Ah, okay.
So if you just stand still, the thing will stand still. And you just have to stand in a place where you know the bird is gonna be. Well, that strategy is no more valid because there's now, rotating chainsaws everywhere. It's a different ball game.
Oops, that had a little bit of a spread more than expected.
Yes. I also don't like the white clouds. It's just, oh man. The more I see this level, the more just my eyes start to, well, not hurt, but like, my regret meter is filling.
I think everybody who views any of their past work feels like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that when I actually played with a friend through a game I worked on, and there was just so many things I got annoyed with.
Yeah, and like if you watch the developer documentary of like the director's cut of Deus Ex, because if you just listen to that, it just feels like this whole game is just it's a miracle that game is even made. Like around every corner they say like, oh, we tried to do this, but you know, and that's just making games really, especially those really big ones. There's just like one big mountain of compromises and you know fixes and it's just amazing that these games are still so super enjoyable and that most of the people they don't know what we know, and that's the blessing.
I think after you worked on your first game, you realize it's a miracle that any game gets shipped.
Yeah, definitely. There was a game called I worked on. A friend of mine wanted to like job as an intern or get an internship somewhere, and instead of making a portfolio, we made a game called the 5-Minute Quest, which was like a point-and-click game about that guy, and it would only take 5 minutes, and that was like the that was like the promise and the limit for us. Like it's a you know point and click, but it only takes 5 minutes, hence the name. And I think that game took us 2 months to make. It was just, and it's called the 5-Minute Quest. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I think like when I worked on hidden object games, because they were on such a tight schedule, it was like 6 to 8 months development time for a 5-hour game. It was just insanity. Like it was working on 4 games in parallel. Yeah.
Do you ever mix up games? Like, oh, you know, in this sequence, Becky, no, I mean Ethan from the no wait, and then just mix up stuff. Does it happen or?
So I know people that had it happen. Thankfully,
Alright.
One of my strengths is like kind of being able to keep a lot of information in my head at the same time.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Mostly like. In the sense of not raw information, like numbers, more in the sense of like if somebody suggests or adds something to a game, I can quickly reference what it's conflicting with. So that kind of helps.
Alright, that's useful. And I think maybe that's also why, like those very big studios, that's something we found out. Like a lot of very big game publishers, they mix of like a with like a traditional medieval fantasy game. So you got Blizzards, who used to do StarCrafts and Warcrafts, you know, one after the other. And then there's the guys that make Mass Effect and Dragon Age, you know, and what was the other one?
Obsidian, maybe?
Obsidian, like Fallouts and Skyrims. And I think that's like after you work on a game which is so full of spaceships and laser beams, it's kind of nice to go back to swords. Maybe I don't know how that works, but I think like a complete change of scenery might work very refreshing, and you know might be why they changed it up so much or do one after the other. I bet there's a million financial reasons as well, but it's just a nice pattern that I saw.
Yeah. I think like also a lot of studios also like to stick with something familiar, like when they try to do stuff. Like, okay, if you're famous for multiplayer-based stuff, you kind of end up doing a lot of multiplayer. Because you already have so much investment in multiplayer, which is like infrastructure, matchmaking, community management and stuff that's not related to single player, so you kind of like end up with that because you know every game kind of ends up being an investment in future games that you do because you take all the knowledge you did. Like for example, if you did another Penarium, you would probably, or another game, it would probably take away a lot of stuff you've learned from Penarium.
Yeah, that's true, and it's absolutely true because unlike movies, video games only tend to get better the more sequels they get, and like if you see, like when I was a kid and I went to like the video and I saw like Friday the 13th Part 7, you thought like, that's just no. And I think a lot of people have that with sequels. They still have that system inside, like, more sequels is not less more quality. But I think from a developer's perspective, there is a lot more quality. And, after you finish a game, there's just so many what ifs and so many like I said, instant regrets and stuff like, revised ideas that as a developer, like many of the games you make, they actually scream for more of the same, but done better, with the same knowledge.
Yeah, and then you have new tech coming up and you have to catch up to that, and then if somebody is
That's
inspired,
always the problem, yeah.
That's
always the problem.
Yeah, and if somebody's inspired by your game, you have to make sure to, like, do the good things they did while still keeping what's good for your game.
And double up on them.
Oh my god, this stage is really rude. Because of these, these jump particularly, where you have to like fall and then jump while you're falling.
Yeah.
That is so rude.
I remember this one. Yeah, this made me curse a few times when I played it, because as soon as I got home and the game was released, it's just kind of like a rite of passage to just download the game on the PlayStation and just platinum it, even though we didn't get a platinum from Sony. But it was just, and this level was kind of frustrating.
I mean, I'm not like angry at it, but it's like, wow, this is quite demanding based on compared to other things we've done.
Yeah, and it's the first time you ever get to learn this jump, so you're learning and applying at the same time.
Yeah, that's really weird, because I noticed the game did input like post fall, it would register an extra jump, which I liked.
Yeah.
But it never plays with it until now. This is like literally the first time.
They didn't mention it.
No.
So the timer on these things is actually not pixel art. Like the clock is pixel art, but the way it's moved, I think I'm not sure. You should ask the programmer, but I didn't make any pixels inside of the clock.
So it's, actually, now that I look, it's probably not gonna come across in video, but now that I look at it, you can see it's not pixel art because it's much smoother.
Yeah. And like we tried to make the pixels the same size all across the board. I mean, except for the cutscene. But that's a whole different story. Sometimes you just can't pull it off, and then just like with the clock.
Yeah, and then you just improvise and just deal with what you have.
Because I made a pixel art clock, but it wasn't visual and it wasn't responsive, because you can only make so many curves with the pixel, the pixels you have. So we just ended up taking it away and spent a few moments to put in like a cyber clock. And like the cutscenes are just I think that's the thing I'm least proud of, the cutscenes. It was just such a lot to do at the same time, because cutscenes was like, well, we have to have cutscenes, actually, we can do that. And then it was like, all right, I'll just draw everything, I guess. And I drew everything, but when we put it together, it just lacks that attention that I was able to give the earlier levels and like the main character and the death traps. So it's just like there's a lot of things in there in the cutscenes. When I see them, I'm just like, ugh. Yeah. You did it. Wow, despite me talking. That's great.
So speaking of cutscenes, any particular reason it was done in Flash?
Well, it rhymed so well with what was it called again? It's such a shame I don't know the name. I think Cocos 2D.
Okay.
It just rhymed so well with Cocos 2D, and it was a way of animating without putting any workload on the developers or any workload on the programmer. So they could just tell the artist, like, play around with Flash, and when you're done, just give it to me, and you press enter, and then it's implemented. If everything goes correctly, because it couldn't handle transparency, for instance, which is a shame, because a lot of the game works with transparency, because you see like the clouds on the bottom of the level, that's alpha channels and transparency and stuff. But we couldn't put any of that in the cutscenes because the conversion between Flash and Cocos City, something went wrong along the way in the translation. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, I didn't know how high those would jump.
Yeah, this is another challenging one. I really like the setup of this level.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. The run back is a bit weird, but otherwise it's pretty good.
All of it is deliberate. I think like the platforming is the best thing about the game. It's just art included. It's just the controls are tight, and the design of the things it's all nice. So props to my colleagues.
Okay, so we can do this. What's next?
I have to run back. So yeah, like using Flash after 5 or 6 years break was kind of nostalgic for me, because I used to do a lot of it with as a kid, or during the previous educations and stuff, and just opening up Flash again was just all the dexterity and all the shortcuts and all the speed and the lightning in the fingers. It was all still there. It was very nostalgic.
I just realized, because I got the achievement, it's on like dot. I just realized. Yeah, I just realized it was the Donkey Kong stage.
It's the Donkey Kong stage, most definitely. Yeah. And it's funny, because I don't know where Rick got that from, because I think he's younger than I am, and I didn't even consciously. He must have played that game after he was growing up, or I'm not sure. Maybe he just did play it on his Nintendo or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the things I had growing up, like, I had a Sega Master System for the longest time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because my parents couldn't buy me anything else, but a lot of the kids in the city, they had bootleg Nintendo consoles. So I played a lot of stuff for the NES that was, either US or Japanese exclusive, or, just hard to come by, because it was all pirated, so it wasn't actually regional.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a gamble, right? You never, I mean, even if you weren't pirating games and if you just bought a game in the store, you weren't exactly sure what you were gonna get.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice mystery to that era. Just the wonder and surprise.
Oh my
god.
Okay, that is.
Oh yeah. It's coming back to me now. I remember this one. There's a certain way to fix this, and I forgot how. Let me see. I think you have to stand at the right place when you finish. The moment it switches, you have to be in the right place.
Oh, I think I'm fucked.
Yes, you made it. No, you're not. You didn't make it. Oh, what was it again? I'm not sure. Well, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. I think that's a very accurate description of this level. Yes. Good luck. Okay, I think I have it now.
Yes. Like most of these traps, you cannot possibly solve without dying. Oh, wow, you're gonna make it. Yeah, easy.
I really hope that gimmick stops. Oh god.
Oh
my god.
Oh boy. I think that the spike just touched your belly. It was right, like you were 1 pixel away from death.
Oh
no!
That is very rude. There we go.
Yay!
Oh, is this the final stage?
Oh, this could be interesting. You're going through this at breakneck speed, and it's one of the things that was very hard design. Like on some games, you can kind of like predict the average playing time, which is like, oh, this game is around 10 hours. But this game was very hard because some people are just really good at this, and some people are just not good at this. So it was very fluctuating. For some people, playing like finishing Penarium would take days, not like 3 times 24 hours, but just like several days. But it seems like we were just wreaking havoc through this in 1.5 hours, 2.5 hours. How long are we playing?
We've been at this for 1.5 hours so far.
Yeah, that's pretty quickly. And like some people just take a lot of time to finish this. But it was one of the challenges that we had, just like predicting player time. And that's one of the things that we've noticed in the reviews is like some people say like, well, this game is fun, but it's way too short. And some other people said like, well, this is so hard, I'm just gonna give up. I don't like the stress. So it's like, for who are we making this game? That was very hard for us to predict.
Yeah, it's I do believe that's like very weird because when you I should have died. I should have died to that spike. Like generally, you can't like. With these kind of games that are pure like skill based, it's just you can. It's hard to predict. Like you just have to, I think, decide who you're doing the game. Oh, I died in position. Who you're making the game for, and just stick to that kind of call. And even then, when you decide who you're making it for, it gets really weird because I know. I played Nuclear Throne when it was in early access.
Yeah.
And because people got so good at that game, it kept getting so hard, like, during the early access development. And, like, it got to a point where I could beat it at one point, and then I just couldn't because they made it so hard because people got used to playing it.
They have to, like, keep one step ahead of the players, and the players are playing when it's made. So that's kind of a, interesting, not often seen before type of before then type of development style.
Yeah, especially when a game is like based around being difficult, like it's kind of like, since you mentioned Bloodborne earlier, like when the first Souls game released, like Demon Souls, or I don't know if you want to count like Dark Souls as the first big one. People took a really long time to figure it out because it was so different and new. But then as the sequels came out, people were just used to playing it. So instead of like it's taking 3 years to discover everything in the game, it took like 2 months, and everybody found everything.
And just kind of like a community power breeding. Like when Demon Soul or even Dark Souls came out, you didn't call that type of game a Soulsian game. That wasn't even a term yet until like maybe 2 or 3 came out, and then it was like a known thing. But definitely right now it's everywhere, but when it first came out, it's like, well, especially for Japanese. I mean, if you compare it to like Devil May Cry, that dude is so super fast, and it's all about getting the hits in, and like same with Bayonetta. From Japanese developers in action games, you're just used to that super twitchy finger licking quick action, and this was something that was just slower, I think, and more like deliberate is often a word that's heard in describing the Dark Souls games, and I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
And I think I mean, that game kind of plays around with people getting better at it, or people knowing how to beat it and sharing that knowledge, I think. And I think one of my friends said to me, like, well, players spoiling the game for you is actually part of the game, because it's all about helping each other, and you can actually spoil the game in-game via messages and stuff, and just cooperate and just fix it all together. And Penarium doesn't have any of that. It's just a platformer. It's tough.
To be fair, this is pretty damn crazy.
Yes, this is one of my favorite things because everything goes fast, and then there's these rockets.
Bubble gum. The bubble gum.
This is a nice combo.
Yeah, it's a really good. The bubble gum is actually a pretty smart idea. because it messes with the one resource you have, which is like your precise jumping.
Yeah, I think most of these traps were designed to kind of like mess up your system, like your platforming system, your mental, your mental image of how this platforming game works, to mess it up. So you have like a Tesla coil that takes away parts of your platform. Then you have like the laser beam that forces you to just go one way only, like only move to the left or the right. And then there's like the bubble gum is also the same philosophy in that you move slower than normally. So all of these things are actually kind of like modifiers to your platforming thing in a way.
Yeah, I mean it's generally very smartly made in that regard because you essentially have always the same capabilities. It's just like the things that you're dealing with require you to use them in a different way. It's kind of like in the original Doom, how different enemies, like they all require you to shoot them until they die, but they require you to prioritize them and deal with them in a different way. So this
and I think
it's kind of like the same with the traps. It's kind of like, okay, I'm still jumping and dodging, but I'm just doing it in a different way.
And the combination of traps also makes it interesting. And I think if there ever is going to be Penarium 2, we're definitely going to play with, because it's a missed opportunity, I think. Like the combination of traps is super interesting, but we also built in a lot of excluders. So we said to each other like, well, if you combine this trap with this trap, then the player has no chance to stay alive. I mean, it's just too hard. Like heat-seeking missiles together with, I don't know the exclusion list anymore, but there's just a number of things that didn't work together because they were too dangerous. But
yeah, probably the following laser and the two walls that kind of get close to each other.
Oh yeah, that's instant death. There's no way you can make that one. But the combination of things that do kind of synergize with each other is one of my favorite things about the game. It's just like, oh wait, rockets with birds are just like wasps and bubblegum. That's kind of a nice thing. And if there's ever going to be Penarium 2, odds are very slim. We're probably going to try playing around with traps from 4 sides instead of 2 sides.
So like instead of using up and down, just using like left and right as well.
Yeah, up and down and left and right. Yeah, a lot of directions.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. Okay, I think I could beat this stage.
Yeah, they're very slow, and you're kind of learning how you actually can play with their slowness a bit.
Oops.
Oops.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I do like that if this is the final stage, it's a good idea to just make a gauntlet of different traps.
Yeah, we're throwing everything we have right now. This is the best of. Without Simon Says, because obviously Simon Says is the worst.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I don't have to deal with Simon Says.
Yeah, it's not gonna come by.
Oh god. No. Oof. Okay, let me just grab a moment. We have 15 minutes left in this stream. I think I can do that.
All right. Any more questions?
I haven't seen anything on chat, but yeah, I think we covered like more or less everything really. Yeah, like we were really exhausted about it. What are some of the games that you enjoy, like playing either nowadays or just in general?
Well, these games I really like playing, and these games that I like being in, because I really love exploring stuff, like explorational games. Sleeping Dogs, it just has a really good vibe to it. Same as a lot of people have that with Skyrim. You just step into the game and the music says like, "Hello, welcome back, Muddy," and it's just like the snow and the wind and the birds. It's just such a nice place to be, and like Sleeping Dogs is really a nice holiday location because I've never been in Hong Kong. It's a really nice place for me, but like a game I really like playing is Bloodborne because of the way it plays in the lore. But the game I really like being in, and it really speaks to me, is probably The Witcher, because it's inspired on European, like mid-European, Slavic and slightly Scandinavian culture. And sometimes you just walk into a field and it just looks like home to me, and it just really speaks to me.
Yeah, it definitely utilizes like a mythology that's not used enough, because most of the mythologies I see being used are Viking or Japanese or standard fantasy. And so it's kind of refreshing to have a AAA game that isn't any of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the game speaks to me in a way that it speaks to my. I don't know if I have a soul. That's a philosophical thing. Sorry, stuttering. But it just speaks to my soul, that game, in a way that very few games do, because it just feels like home, and that's because of the landscape. And they talk about spirits and folklore that I only heard of from my grandparents, and that's really something else. That's really special. And on a completely different note, I love Cyberpunk. I love Deus Ex, and just the idea of the people that made The Witcher now working on a Cyberpunk game is just, I can only imagine how awesome that will be. So there's probably gonna be a hint of disappointment when that comes out, but I will also probably love it somehow.
Yeah, it'll definitely have very high expectations, especially the longer time passes without people seeing anything about it.
Yeah. And I think, like, I was really into Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I just played the crap out of Fallout 3. I just played it to bits, every single bit. And then the sequels to those games came, like, not counting New Vegas, but Fallout 4 and the sequel to Deus Ex Human Revolution. They came out, and I was just less impressed. And I was just thinking, like, well, maybe games don't get lamer. I just get older. Maybe that's just it.
Well, that's also changed, I feel. I know, like, I was very into Morrowind and got extremely disappointed with Oblivion, but Oblivion did better, so who knows, maybe just my taste changed as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, like, Morrowind is so weird and freaky. It was kind of a high point, and then Oblivion kind of went back to straightforward, like, fantasy novel cover, style again, and then that was a bit of a, not everybody loved it. And then Skyrim kind of was a little bit more sophisticated, I think, and drew more people in again.
Yeah, definitely.
A funny story about Fallout and Oblivion was that when I just bought a PlayStation 3, my friend had a lot of video games. Two of them were Oblivion and Fallout 3, and I was sure that I was going to play Fallout 3, and I wanted to borrow it from him. And he said, "Well, I'm playing that right now. You can't have it, but you can have, in the meantime, you can have Oblivion just to kill the time." And I said, like, "No, man, this is fantasy bullshit. I'm not into that." But anyway, I got this game right now. I'm just gonna play Oblivion just to kill time, like he said, right? And I played it, and I was like, all right, fine. I'm trapped in a dungeon. I'm the chosen one somehow. I don't know. Just fix this and go home. Just next game. And I got a horse. I was walking. I was like, hey, there's a castle there. Let's go to the castle. And then I was like, somebody's asking me to do something. All right, I'm going to help him out just for once. And then at the end of the week, my friend was coming back to give me Fallout 3. He's like, I got Fallout 3 for you, but I want Oblivion back, and I just didn't want to give it back. I was just so hooked into that, and it was just something that took me a bit by surprise. But those games, they can kind of get their claws into you.
Yeah, like when a game clicks with you, it's kind of dangerous. I've had a few games like I spent way too much time with. Like my Steam profile has 3,000 hours in a particular MMO. Which was which was basically my entire high school / college years.
That's interesting, because I think those, like just like holidays and places you lived, video games can be kind of nostalgic. because like if you years from now will boot up that game again, there's I think a solid chance you will be like overwhelmed with memories and emotions somehow.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
because you just spent the whole time of your life there, and I think that's something to do with 3D games. I'm not sure what game is it, by the way.
Champions Online.
Champions Online.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
3D, right?
Yeah, it's a 3D superhero game.
Yeah. Oh wait, Champions Online. That's not DC or Marvel, is it? It's just
No,
superheroes.
yeah, just superheroes.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Oh man, okay, I'm gonna try one more attempt because I feel I'm finally reaching my fatigue limits.
I can imagine.
It's
Just
been
mad.
just 2 hours of jumping and talking.
This is breakneck speed. This is really props for coming so far already. This is one of the faster playthroughs I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I wonder what the speed run of this game is.
Not sure how people ever try to speedrun.
It seems like a good game to speedrun. Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. I'm thinking like speedrun is seriously kind of trying to carve out an ideal path, but this game is so many random elements that it's kind of hard for them to predict exactly what to do. So maybe that for speedrunners maybe less interesting. I'm not sure.
Well, there's a lot of speedruns of Binding of Isaac and similar games, so...
That's true. That's 100% true. Forgot that.
So I'm pretty sure this would be pretty good. Oh god.
Yo! Yep, you got it. Oh, no. Yeah, I like these traps.
Oh god, how do I even get up here?
This is kind of the trap that tells you to not move, to not run and just take every step carefully. Yep, there's a path opening. Come on, Pop. Oh, no. Oh.
There's so much screen shake.
Yeah, there's so much. There's a path. Yes.
Oh god.
Wow. This is the one more. Oh boy, get back. Oh, I'm so curious about what the last one is, because it's not always the same.
Oh no.
Oh, you can do it.
No! Oh, I didn't know it would go that far. I didn't know it would go that long, I was confused.
Oh, it's so wide. It's so wide. Oh.
Oh man. But yeah, I think...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last stage.
You came very far, and that was the last stage. And yep, that's it.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a very good attempt at actually kind of speedrunning, or just one-upping, one chance, one go in this game.
Yeah,
impressive.
This is thank you. This was really good. I don't think I would have gotten as far if the controls like weren't as good, because like it shows you had a lot of iteration on it.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's like I said, that's most important. More important than graphics or sound or just getting the jump right is just the number one thing you have to do with these games.
Yeah. Well, before we close this off, feel free to plug anything you're currently doing or where people can contact you for chat if you social media and stuff like that. So
wow. So I'm pretty much called Noppy on everything, I think. So Noppy on Twitter, Noppy on Instagram. Those are the two big channels I'm posting stuff on. I'm working on a few projects. One of them is brigadeforce.com, which is kind of shrouded in secrecy, but it's like inspired on our love for G.I. Joe, and specifically the Saturday morning cartoon G.I. Joe. So that's gonna be interesting. You can kind of get into a newsletter on www.brigadeforce.com, and my Facebook, on my Twitter and Instagram, I mostly share papercraft stuff I make. So I still do papercraft, or I mean, I still do pixel art, but right now I make paper figures, which I'm also selling on Etsy. So if you come to Twitter, you'll find out everything else. And Twitter and Instagram, those are the places, really. And I'm not sure if anything else. No.
Oh, cool. Well, Noppy, thanks again so much for joining the stream and
Thank you.
Talking about this game. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff about it. I'm sure people appreciate it.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So when you're doing anything new, we can do this again for that game.
Yeah, if you're still doing this format, I will definitely call you. Because this is super fun.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. In case you missed most of the stream, there will be a YouTube video on it online, so you can watch it at your leisure. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.